One of the most prominent stereotypes about Jews is that they're greedy and hoping to make themselves rich by any means necessary. They're imagined to have full control over the world's financial systems and are also accused of regularly cheating friends and neighbors for money. The stereotype of Jewish greed took hold in the Middle Ages because of restrictions put on Jews in the workforce. Sometimes their only option available was through high-interest crediting as bankers, a role for which Christian rulers recruited Jews as Christians were prohibited from it. This made it easy for leaders to position Jews as the cause of the common people's financial woes. The tactic of blaming society's problems on one group of people is a common way governments take the blame off themselves. Forcing Jews into the financial industry was an easy way to villainize Jews for economic problems instead of the government. The main reason the theology about Jews has persisted for so many hundreds of years, despite the fact that Christians are allowed to be bankers now, is Jews were often made the villains of literature and art of the time, reflecting widespread depiction of Jews as money-hungry and working against the interests of the honest citizen. I'm tired of people saying COVID-19 is just like the flu, and here's why. First of all, the flu is over when the virus is out of your body. COVID has long-time repercussions like lung and heart damage, strokes, seizures, Guillain-Barré syndrome, hair loss, severe blood clots in the lungs, legs, liver, and kidneys, and chronic fatigue syndrome, which makes you tired for the rest of your life. These are the known possible lifetime side effects of COVID. There's likely more that we won't find out until a few years from now. Sure, you won't be unlucky enough to have every one of these after effects, but you would be super lucky to come through with absolutely none of them. Now, number-wise, you can stop yelling it's just like the flu. In 2020, there were 93 million COVID cases and 1,900,000 deaths. The number of flu cases in 2020 was 1 billion, while the number of flu deaths was approximately 400,000. So there were a lot more flu cases, but still COVID resulted in triple the amount of deaths. And nevertheless, even if wearing a mask has a 0.1% chance of saving someone's life, why not just put the mask on? It's a human life and COVID doesn't care about your political opinion. Here's why I don't find Elon Musk charming. Working conditions at Tesla's factories are pretty bad. Meeting the unrealistically fast Tesla Model Q2 production goals required employees to have free Red Bull, walk through raw sewage, and apparently develop a form of PTSD that workers started calling the Tesla Stair. The Tesla factory removed safety zones painted in yellow and forklifts that made beeping noises while reversing because Elon Musk disliked both the color yellow and found beeping forklifts annoying. They have a higher average injury rate than any other comparable audio manufacturer. However, this is exacerbated by the fact that these accidents could quite possibly and easily be preventable. Musk and Tesla's need to meet the production targets for the Q2 car caused basic safety precautions to take a back seat to increase efficiency. Remember how mad we all were about Jeff Bezos being a dick about his workers discussing unionizing? We'll keep that same energy here. United Auto Workers reported Musk for engaging in illegal unionization suppression. U.S. Centers for Disease Control does a yearly survey of high school students to collect statistics. In 2016, 27 states agreed to have the students answer questions about their gender and sexuality for the first time. The results of the survey found that 1.3 million kids, roughly 8% of all high school students in America, report being lesbian, gay, or bisexual. 30% of LGBT youth had attempted suicide. That's more than 4 times the rate of straight students. 6% reported using heroin at least once, which is 4 times the rate of straight kids. 60% reported feeling sad or hopeless, which was twice the rate of the straight peers. LGBT youth are more likely to live on the streets than their heterosexual peers and especially vulnerable to physical and sexual exploitation. These youth find it difficult to find housing and may be asked to leave shelters after revealing their sexuality. And African American and Native American youth make up a disproportionate amount of the LGBT youth that are homeless. After being kicked out of their home or fleeing from abusive guardians, shelters not taking them in is unacceptable. 150,000 Indigenous children were kidnapped and brought to residential schools. The goal of the schools was to eliminate all aspects of Aboriginal society. Here are some of the things that happened in the schools. Intentionally bad academia. By the age of 18, they are only at a grade 5 level of education. Separating siblings permanently. Mutilating their tongues for speaking their native language instead of English. They used the children as slaves to do manual labor. Psychological, physical, and sexual abuse was a constant. Chaining children to their beds. There was overcrowding, non-existent sanitation, not nearly enough food, and severely lacking medical care. 24% of residential school kids died in the schools. And the kids who did make it to 18 had a 57% chance of dying within the 5 years after the release. The caretakers of these schools were described as sexual terrorists in the Canadian Supreme Court in 2005. The same court case called the residential school system institutionalized pedophilia. That's how severe and common the sexual abuse of the children was. And these schools weren't fully closed until 25 years ago. My page covers really serious subject matter. I've been talking about all these things my entire life. Even as a child, I was ranting to people about things I thought they ought to know. And in high school, I was just as loud and outspoken in person as I am on this page. And I was relentlessly bullied for it. But no matter how many times those white men threw things at me or yelled at me in the hallway, I did not stop. Nothing made me stop talking back then, and nothing's gonna make me stop talking now. They nicknamed me Social Justice Warrior Bitch in high school, and they thought it was an insult, but I wear that shit like a crown. People did and said terrible things to me just to get me to stop talking, and now people are following me to listen to me talk, and that is so surreal, I can't even describe it. And if I could go back to high school and redo it, I wouldn't do anything differently, because what I do is important, and I know that. People have been telling me to shut up my whole life, so if you want to tell me to shut up too, do it. All it does is fuel me. I'm used to it.